Hi there guys, welcome to my channel. For the people who are new here, this is a drawing, a sketch that I made last time. Now I'm gonna work this out until a full drawing. Now for people who already saw this, I did make some adjustments to this. So this is the old sketch and I'm gonna bring up the new sketch. No major issues, but I just wanna explain a little thing. And what I did, these lines below, I made them all disappear that way. So there's a vanishing point somewhere over here. It's off the page, but I'm gonna show you anyway. This top part, I divided differently, considering my old sketch. Why did I do that? Because I'm gonna create, this is gonna be my wall, and this is gonna be the floor. And I want a corner line, not straight, but I want it in an angle. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna create my background following this vanishing point. That leads the eye all to the same point in my drawing. What is important is that I made a couple of other changes to this drawing. And this, as you're gonna see right here, I integrated this part in the wall, so it will create a nice drop shadow in the background later on. But for creating that corner line, I'm just gonna remove my old sketch, and this is the new sketch. You see very clearly this is a little bit changed. And I'm gonna just draw the corner, just one line to create the background. Take a black brush over here, 2mm. I already made the path, that's this one. And you see that's the vanishing point. It all fits. I hope that's clear what I'm talking about here. So, but this is gonna be my background line. Now I'm gonna bring up my path real quick, because I will show you something, and I'm gonna show you my pencils. This path is selected. I make sure I got the right color, it's black. I take my 2-point round brush, and I'm just pressing this little thing right here. And that creates a line. You can also go Control, click on the path, and then create line, I think it's called in English. Just right here. You can fill path or create line, I guess. But I'm gonna do it here. Just one click. Now I'm gonna click off the mask, and you see my background right here. Now I'm gonna very quickly explain you something about erasing parts of your drawing without actually losing them. It will become clear very soon. I'm just gonna show you that's on this layer, alright? So that's my background. I'm gonna put it behind my sketch, of course. So that's my background. I'm gonna rename it background, and I'm gonna call it corner, because it will be the corner. And I'm gonna create a mask on it. And that's right next to effects on the right side. You got little mask. You select that, and then you see it creates a mask right next to my layer. Now if I select my layer, no problem, I can still draw on it. There's no issue at all. But if I go into my mask and I draw here, it appears nothing happens. But something does happen, and I'm gonna explain to you right away. Now this is very important. I'm in the mask, not on my layer, so I'm in the mask. And right here, I press D to switch to white and black. And if I press X, I can switch them around. So I don't always have to do this. So that's just a quick tip. But you gotta think of it in this way. Black is my eraser, and white is bringing it back up. The corner line of my background is behind the letters, so I need to erase it. Now I'm not gonna use eraser, I'm gonna use a mask this time around. So I make sure black is selected, make my brush a little bigger, and I just erase my line. So I go with my black brush and I delete the parts I don't need. I say delete, but they're not actually deleted. Now let's say I made a mistake, or I want to bring the line just back up. I make sure I switch my colors to white, and white brings it back up. Delete it again, press X to change the colors. So now I want black again because I want to erase it. And there we go. But for now, let's first pick some colors. Now I'm gonna explain to you something very quickly. This is an old drawing of mine, a digital drawing, again in Photoshop, and I picked out the colors. Now I'm gonna teach you a quick tip to check your values of your color. Now you gotta know these are, oh, that's a very big brush. I'm gonna pick a little bit smaller, something like this. So we got our darks over here, and of course lights over here. Now I want to make sure that my lightest dark is darker than my darkest light. You can rewind if you want to hear it again, because I'm not going to try to do that 2 times. So basically what I want is that my lightest shadow, it always should be darker than the parts that receive light. That's basically it. Now there's a quick way to check that in Photoshop. What you can do is you're just gonna go right here, back in the bottom of your layer panel, and you see this contrast like icon. You click on it, and then you go to black white. You click it, and then it turns everything in black white. It's just a filter, I can turn it off, so nothing happens. I can even, in my mask, bring the color up in parts. You see? So that's why I taught you a little bit something about masks. But what I want to explain with this is, now if you're gonna check my values, you see right here that this color is still a little bit darker than this color. And that's what's very important, because you can never have a light that the value is darker than any of your darks. That would be ridiculous. Just another thing I want to give you about colors. Cool colors tend to go away from you, and warm colors tend to come forward to the viewer. You see that here, the blue pushes everything back and the brown brings everything forward. That gives contrast within your colors. Now for this particular drawing that we're gonna do, I'm gonna remove all this, we don't need it. These layers, these are the swatches I'm gonna use for this drawing. So again, oh, that's easy. I'm just gonna do it like this. That's what's gonna happen. These gonna be my darks, and this is gonna be my lights. Now, before I go into the time lapse, I just wanna make sure what I'm gonna do is just basically getting color in. It's not gonna be all the way correct. I just wanna get some basic color in. So the parts that receive light, I'm gonna move this over just a little bit. Let's say this part right here receive light. I'm gonna color it a base color with green, and this parts that capture all the way shadow, let's say this part right here, I will use the dark colors. so here we are at the end of the video. I'm gonna leave it for now because I want to keep the video kinda short. I did make some adjustments, like right here. I colored in a little bit wider and whatnot. Always do that. I don't stick to my sketch as if it was holy. Just your sketch is there just to help you. If you want to change things to the process, just go ahead. Now if I remove the sketch, you see it's just floating there. It's not contacted with the background, so we gotta make a drop shadow over here. We're gonna put some shadows down over here and whatnot. This needs another color, so there's a lot of things that I still need to do. I already put in some major shapes, but they're not set in stone. If I wanna change some things up, I can. I got all different layers, which are locked now, so I don't mess them up. Every drawing goes through this process. It doesn't look right, there's no light coming in, it's just floating there, there's no connection. That's what we call the ugly phase. You will always go through a phase that it doesn't look right, but you gotta trust your process. I already did this kind of stuff, and I know it's gonna end up great. Not for now, this is just a phase you need to get through. Now the next time, what I'm gonna do is, of course, make a lot of adjustments and put some shadows in, and then we're gonna create, most of the drawing will be green. It looks now like it's all gonna be this brownish. No, it's all gonna be green. The background's gonna be mostly green. I see a little dot over here. And it will come to life later on. And I'll show you the next video how I'm gonna do that. So yeah, anyways, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. And I hope you to see for the last part.